Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez have reaffirmed their rejection of Israeli aggression in Gaza. During a phone call, they condemned efforts to displace Palestinians from their land and emphasized the importance of facilitating the implementation of the two-state solution. The Egyptian President and Spanish Prime Minister also stressed on the need to expand recognition of the Palestinian state and support reconstruction efforts in Gaza without displacing its residents. A senior Egyptian official has announced that coordination is ongoing among Egypt, Qatar and the US regarding ceasefire negotiations and detainee exchanges in Gaza. The official stated that Egypt urges both parties to demonstrate the necessary flexibility to reach an agreement that addresses the humanitarian crisis in the region. The Egyptian source affirmed the ongoing intensive communications that aim to align the views of the involved parties and facilitate a return to calm as soon as possible. Hamas has announced its acceptance of U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff's proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza, awaiting Israel's response. According to Hamas political bureau member Bassem Naim, the proposal includes the withdrawal of Israeli occupation forces and a permanent ceasefire. Earlier, Witkoff stated that Israel has agreed to the temporary ceasefire proposal and he is prepared to lead the negotiations towards a lasting truce in Gaza. The US-backed foundation tasked with supplying humanitarian aid to Gaza has confirmed it began operations, delivering truckloads of food to designated distribution sites. The announcement followed confusion over whether civilians had received any assistance, especially as Israeli strikes continued across the enclave, including on a school where dozens were killed. Though Palestinians reported no aid earlier in the day, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation stated that deliveries had commenced and would increase daily. The launch comes amid critical shortages after nearly 3 months of blockade and as U.S. efforts to secure a ceasefire remain stalled. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry has called for urgent international and U.S. intervention to hold the Israeli occupation's crimes in Gaza and the West Bank. They demand concrete actions to compel Netanyahu's government to adhere to the will for peace. Additionally, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry warns of the repercussions of Israeli aggression on regional security and stability. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has condemned the situation in Gaza and the West Bank, deeming it unacceptable. Lavrov stressed that Moscow will leverage its influence to resolve the crisis. In a joint press conference with his Turkish counterpart, Lavrov emphasized cooperation with the Arab League to prevent further disaster in Gaza. Lavrov also expressed a desire to assist Syria and highlighted the importance of addressing the root causes of the Ukraine crisis. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has stated that regional stability cannot be achieved without a ceasefire in Gaza and de-escalation in the West Bank. In a press conference with his Russian counterpart, Fidan emphasized the urgent need to end the war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza and condemned Israel's actions as genocide. The Turkish Foreign Minister also highlighted his country's efforts for stability in Syria and the necessity of lifting U.S. sanctions on Syria while supporting ongoing Russia-Ukraine negotiations. German Foreign Minister Johann Weidefeld has stated it is completely unacceptable for Gaza's residents to lack food or medicine. Weidefeld described the situation in the region as intolerable. He also emphasized that Germany must seriously consider new steps to address the crisis.
Und das zeigt, dass zum jetzigen Zeitpunkt nicht bereit ist für den Frieden. Wir wollen aber.
The European Commission has urged Israel to immediately allow aid into Gaza, condemning its actions as abhorrent. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stated that they reject Israel's expansion of operations in Gaza, which has resulted in civilian casualties, including children. She emphasized that there is no justification for the Israeli escalation against civilians and demanded that Israel immediately resume the delivery of aid to Gaza. The United Nations has emphasized the needs in Gaza are immense and that aid must be delivered promptly. The UN added that many families in Gaza have been displaced more than 12 times and living conditions are deteriorating rapidly. UNRWA has stated that for 20 months, Israel has made unfounded accusations against the agency and its neutrality. UNRWA's statement added that these claims by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government have endangered the lives of UNRWA employees and harmed the agency's reputation. UNRWA emphasized that Israel has not provided any evidence to support its allegations against the organizations.